If you've been on YouTube since the early days of online gaming content, chances are you will have heard of the YogCast. Founded in 2008 by Lewis Brindley and his close friend Simon Lane, the group has grown into a sprawling collection of YouTubers, content creators, and Twitch streamers, all bound by a love for, but lack of skill, at video games. Over the years, the network's focus has moved away from YouTube, with many viewers seeing the decline in views as a downfall. I'm going to be taking a look at the YogCast's changes and evolution over the years to try and answer the question, did the YogCast really fall from grace, and are they still successful almost 15 years later? On the 9th of July 2008, Lewis created the Blue Zephos channel on YouTube. It served as a place for Lewis to upload comedic World of Warcraft guides and how-tos featuring himself, Simon, and their guild, Ye Olde Goon Squad. Yogs consisted primarily of members of the Something Awful forums and was where the original members of the YogCast first met.
Very first time I heard about WoW, I was following it since the start.
Wow.
And I was super hyped, and I was on the Something Awful forums, and I joined them so I could get into the Goon Squad in the beta of WoW, the vanilla WoW.
You were in old school.
2004.
Oh my god. So long ago. Sips, what's your story?
I didn't play in beta, but I bought it on release, like the day it was released, and played it, and I joined Goon Squad on the day as well, I'm pretty sure. I think when I first started playing it, because I was already a Something Awful forum member. I'd actually been one since 2001.
Wow, no one.
The initial content was originally intended to only be seen by the members of Yogs and to keep a video record of World of Warcraft boss kills. At the time, Yogs was a higher end raiding guild, and in some cases one of the first guilds to complete tougher end game bosses like Muru in Sunwell Plateau.
There was one point when we were, a top 10 guild in the world almost, it felt like. I think we were like number 13.
The key takeaway there is it felt like.
There weren't a lot of videos showing kills of these bosses, and this is where the YogCast got their first views on YouTube. Quickly the content shifted to more irreverent and comedic videos, and although many viewers would visit the channel looking for tips or tricks, they would subscribe for Lewis and Simon's wit and charm.
You ready to go? Adventuring in the land of cataclysm? After the cataclysm.
My backpack is packed, my sword is sharpened, and my wand is stiff and erect.
The channel hit over 3 million total views around August of 2010, and alongside this, the Yogs were also creating a successful podcast called the YogPod.
That looks pretty good, actually.
No, it doesn't! It looks stupid!
YogPod! You're listening to the YogPod.
Oh my god! God help you!
The YogPod. It's going to be a success.
The YogPod was mostly snippets of Lewis and Simon's light-hearted and candidly recorded chats and stories on TeamSpeak, with some of the guild members occasionally joining in. This podcast allowed the Yogs to reach a new audience by being accessible to non-World of Warcraft fans, and to this day is seen as a cornerstone of YogCast content by their community due to its many in-jokes, characters and references.
Hello?
Hi Sips, how's it going?
Good.
How come we haven't had sex yet?
Ask him.
Well, there's a couple of reasons,
Right.
but yeah, why do you keep phoning me? That's kind of weird.
What do you mean it's not weird? I don't think it's weird at all.
As more videos and podcasts were released, things were on the up for the YogCast. They were slowly but steadily building up a fan base, unaware that they were on the cusp of a surge in popularity, and would go on to create one of the most memorable and iconic Minecraft series in YouTube history. After playing Minecraft off camera for a while and realising the potential it had, Simon mentioned the game during an interview with Nordrasil Radio, a gaming related internet radio station.
People have asked us to play Minecraft, and Simon's played the fuck out of Minecraft. I haven't really played it very much, but I've kind of been waiting for survival multiplayer because I think it would be a lot funnier if me and Simon could do survival multiplayer together.
So, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's got so much potential, and I mean, it's going to be an amazing game. And I mean, this is why there's been so much buzz about it, and why Notch has basically become a millionaire.
And when the multiplayer of that comes up, I certainly think that we may forsake WoW for a few weeks to play that.
Lewis and Simon soon released the first episode of their original Minecraft series entitled How to Survive the First Night. This was a smart move because with the game being so new, they would be able to attract an audience looking for guides or tips about Minecraft.
This game is beautiful.
It is.
Made by a single man.
Yeah.
You're a bearded dwarf of Casmodan, I assume.
I certainly am. You're William Riker of the USS Enterprise.
Yep.
In true YogCast style, the guide served more as a sandbox for Lewis and Simon to laugh and feel together rather than serve as a definitive how-to guide.
Can we control this fire?
Okay.
Why aren't you panicking?
I don't know, I think I kind of like it.
What do you mean you kind of like it? Everything's burning, everything's on fire.
Everything will be reborn in time, Lewis. In a baptism of fire.
Save everything.
Fire!
Unfortunately, there aren't many statistics available from this period, but it's safe to say that this series kickstarted the YogCast's rise to success. The channel hit over 11 million views and 37,000 subscribers on the 16th of December that year. However, their highest point was yet to come. A month later, with the first and second part of the original Minecraft series concluded, the YogCast released part 1 of a new series, Shadow of Israphel. This was unlike any other Minecraft videos at the time due to its enhanced production with comedic role-playing, scripted story, intricate builds, and interesting characters played by fellow Yogs.
This is the family grill. There is always cake here for the hungry adventurer.
Old woman, I demand your finest bacon.
Many viewers were fooled into thinking Minecraft had NPCs, and a common theme in the fanbase at the time was the mystery of Herobrine, something that the Yogs clearly leaned into. Shadow of Israphel turned out to be incredibly popular and was a lot of fans' first introduction to Minecraft and to the YogCast. It was reflected in their analytics as they skyrocketed in views and subscribers, quickly hitting 500,000 subs in June 2011 and 1 million subs in October. It's worth mentioning that at this time, YouTube was quite different to today. Gaming was more favoured by the algorithm due to YouTube switching to a system that favoured watch time, and with the nature of Minecraft Let's Plays being regularly uploaded, bingeable, and infinitely customisable, they were perfect for the algorithm and created a snowball effect where the YogCast and other Minecraft YouTubers were able to grow very rapidly. The most highly watched videos, and those related to them, were more visible to YouTube viewers on the homepage, with the YogCast alone sometimes having 2 or 3 of those slots. As the Shadow of Israphel story progressed, episodes became less frequent and eventually stopped. There were multiple different reasons for this, including the difficulty of coordinating a large group of people, finding the right people to help now that it was no longer a passion project, and fears that it would never meet the high expectations people had set during its hiatus.
We stopped doing it because it had to be up to a certain standard, right?
Yes, yeah.
And it was became this incredible weight around our neck.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And everyone who originally was passionate about it had moved on to other things that they were passionate about.
Yeah.
And they'd gotten tired of making this thing. And so I was left on my own thinking, okay, how do I get people to do this? And the only answer really is to find people who are passionate about it and want to do it. Every time I go to an event, every time anyone meets me, anytime I open a piece of fan mail, it's like, what happened to Shadow of Israphel? When's the next episode of Shadow of Israphel coming out? It's one of these things that I feel kind of like it's constantly nagging me.
Yeah.
And I'm powerless to do anything about it and frustrated about it because I feel like, and even if and the longer it goes on, the worse it gets, right? Because it's like, well, it's been 7 years now since we did that. How what about our new audience? Are they going to remember it? Is this still a thing on YouTube that works? Is this narrative Minecraft content going to be what people are interested in seeing? Probably not.
In its place, Lewis and Simon were creating an abundance of content on Minecraft adventure maps, mod showcases, let's plays, and other videos. As the months went on, almost all of their Minecraft videos were breaking 1 million views, and their monthly gained subscribers and views hitting their peak in August of 2012. At this point, the YogCast were in the top 15 YouTube channels on the platform, and were the first channel in the UK to reach 1 billion views. It was around this time that the YogCast would start to expand their team, and their base of operations would move from Lewis and Simon's house in Reading to an office in Bristol nicknamed Yog Towers. Prior to this, the YogCast mainly consisted of ye old Goon Squad members, but this new office space allowed them to hire editors, artists and admin staff, and to be able to work closely with them.
And I can say that to almost everyone that works here now, that you meet them and you say, okay, this guy is really smart and really good at this thing. Initially, it took a long time for me to trust people to do things, like anyone here to be able to be capable enough to do anything, whether that was editing or art or anything, honestly. But nowadays, I think we have this great crew, and I totally trust in them to do stuff way better than I can. And that is such a nice, relieving situation to be in.
Interestingly, a lot of these behind the scenes staff would later go on to become content creators themselves.
You know, some people that we hired as editors, like Tom, have ended up coming and being a creator and being pretty integral to the way the YogCast feels and is these days.
From now on, more Yogs would begin going on camera or starting their own channels, and the YogCast was no longer just seen as Lewis and Simon, but a group of friends all making videos together. In December 2012, the YogCast held their second Christmas charity live streaming event, Honeydew's Honey Drive, on Justin TV, now known as Twitch. What stood out about this year's event, however, was the fact that it was held in person from their office, whereas previously the first Christmas fundraiser in 2011 was streamed from Lewis and Simon's basement. The idea for the Jingle Jam came about when Lewis and Simon wanted to encourage viewers to donate money to charity instead of buying them presents.
That's partly why we're doing this, to raise money for those less fortunate than us. And also because people always like to buy me and Simon presents. We don't want anything. I don't want any presents, you don't want any presents. We want you to buy us Jaff. We've got enough Jaffers.
As part of this, they would be doing special streams during December with various members of the YogCast streaming on different days and playing different games. Both of these fundraisers would prove to be very successful, with a total of £62,328.69 raised in 2011 and £210,532 raised in 2012. This would be the YogCast's first proper foray onto Twitch, and only the beginning of one of the biggest live streaming fundraisers. Whilst views had dropped, subscribers gained were at an all-time high, and the YogCast had a strong start into 2013. They were continuing popular series like the Jaffa Factory and Yog Labs, making new songs, and also creating their first live-action videos. The team would also continue to expand, with new content creators such as Hat Films, and more behind-the-scenes staff like Tom and Ben joining the group.
Was working on just random stuff, and then became sort of the producer to just come up with video ideas and make sure everyone kept recording.
So yeah, then when you started your channel, I became the new Tom.
Yeah.
So I would test GTA maps and update servers and find stuff to record and make sure everyone can record at the same time and that everything works. All the really fun producery stuff.
It's interesting that we didn't have to get a new Ben.
No, I think that is interesting. I think it's because...
For the most part, 2013 remained consistent, and the YogCast continued to dominate YouTube as one of the most popular channels. They had ended their Jaffa Factory series, but had started MoonQuest, another of the YogCast's iconic Minecraft playthroughs.
There's literally oil here.
Just get the oil. Get a bucket.
Scoop it up with your fucking hands and just bring it back. Bring me back a few handfuls of oil. I'll put it up my arse, and then we'll go into space. I don't fucking know. What are we doing? Why are we so shit? We've done nothing for 4 hours.
Do we have any glass? Is that a thing?
Fuck!
On top of this, 2013's Christmas live streams raised $1,159,746.33. This was partially due to there now being a bundle of games given to donors via Humble Bundle if they donated over a certain amount, leading to there being more donators overall, with a total of 3,615 donators in 2011 and 13,389 donators in 2012, compared to 47,885 donators in 2013. At the start of 2014, the YogCast would begin to see a decline in subscribers that eventually would lead to a plateau in growth and the beginning of a slow decline. Despite this, the YogCast content was still performing well, with Minecraft and MoonQuest continuing to be large staples for the channel. 2014's Christmas livestreams were special, as they would be the first to have the name Jingle Jam. Before this, each year had a separate name and animal theme, with 2011 being goats, 2012 bees, and 2013 cows, despite not raising any money for cow-related charities. The name change was due to the YogCast now supporting a wider range of charities and not wanting to accidentally raise too much money for goats again. Another good reason would be to keep consistency and recognition for people that may not be as familiar with the YogCast and their fundraising events. The Jingle Jams were also a great reason for the Yogs to do special streams like Jingle Cats, a stream in which Lewis and Simon watch original or fan-submitted Jingle Cats music videos, Hat Films Music, where Hat Films write an album live, the Fighting Fantasy book stream with live art, Simon's important videos where Simon makes a meme playlist to watch, cooking, painting, drunken civ, guest appearances, and multiplayer games with a large amount of Yogs. At this point, the Christmas livestreams had also become an annual tradition for the Yogs and a lot of the community, with plenty of hype leading up to the start of December. A lot of old or irregular fans also return to watch the streams, and the Jingle Jam is consistently featured on the front page of Twitch, leading to even more publicity. These special streams, a games bundle incentive, and fundraiser goals all help the Yogs to raise a ludicrous amount of money for charity, with a total of $24,945,581.26 raised in 10 years. 2015 would turn out to be a massive year of change for the YogCast. Unfortunately, some of it would be to their detriment. In March of 2015, Lewis announced that Simon had become ill and would be taking some time off to recover.
I'm doing this little quick video to really tell you about Simon. He has been pretty seriously ill for the last 4 weeks, being in and out of hospital. You may have noticed that he hasn't been on the main channel very much, and the bits that he has been was stuff that we recorded a long time ago. He actually is fine. He's going in for some surgery today. He should be fine, and hopefully that will sort him right out, and he will be back with us in the next month or so. It's a bit of a long recovery. You know, Simon is Simon. We will carry on doing stuff without him, and I want to thank the people who've been helping me to make stuff for the main channel without him for the last month. Best wishes from us, and I'm sure if you guys will send him your best wishes as well, he'll appreciate it.
Whilst other members had featured on the channel before, this would be the proper start of the channel transitioning from being focused on Lewis and Simon to a more general place to watch large multiplayer games and board games featuring various different faces. Thankfully, Simon recovered and would reappear on the main channel in September, but he would only appear in a small fraction of content compared to before his hiatus. Many people cite this, and later the gradual transition away from Minecraft, as the cause of the YogCast's decline. While this may have contributed slightly, it was also around this time that YouTube would dramatically change their algorithm in an attempt to shift YouTube away from gaming. This would completely stifle the YogCast's growth, and they would be one of the channels most impacted by this change. 2016 would be the year where the main YogCast Twitch channel would experiment with regular streaming outside of Jingle Jam. This would be a fairly new concept, as the only consistent streamers at this point were Pyrian, Nalzi, Zoe, and for a short period Sips. The core idea behind this change would be to allow different members to stream each day, using the channel as a central hub for all things YogCast. In turn, this would allow streamers to promote and gain new viewers for their individual YouTube or Twitch channels, and also involve other members that would be considered behind the scenes. The new schedule would be the birth of fan favourite streams like High Rollers, a very successful and popular D&D stream that's still running to this day. Also, Lewis and Ben Save the World, a stream in which Lewis and Ben would play turn-based strategy games such as XCOM and Heroes of Might and Magic. Other Yogs like Hat Films, Zoe, Martin, and Ruthian also had their own weekly slots playing various different games. The schedule experiment worked out well for the main YogCast Twitch, averaging between 1,000 to 3,000 viewers per month for that year, and a small but steady increase in followers. Throughout that year, they would also continue to build upon their schedule, filling more and more slots, subsequently leading to more hours streamed. Some Yogs also continue to stream on their individual channels and slowly build up their communities. With the YogCast and their individual members dipping their toes into new methods of content creation, their main focus would slowly begin to shift to Twitch. This would be the start of the YogCast stream team and inclusion of Twitch streamers into what would have previously been a YouTube exclusive network. Throughout 2017 and 2018, the YogCast would see their biggest roster expansion yet, with the network almost doubling in size. Creators such as G-Star, Lydia and Boof would join the YogCast family. Why these three stood out in particular was the fact that they were all Twitch streamers that had little or no initial YouTube following. Even without a YouTube boost, these new members quickly became popular in the YogCast community and were featured in both TTT and streams on the main Twitch, all leading to more promotion and viewers for their individual channels. The Twitch team was really picking up pace, and at this point the main Yogs Twitch had a jam-packed streaming schedule with different content every day from 2 PM to 11 PM with individual Yog streams on top of that. 2017's Jingle Jam would prove to be the most successful in terms of both peak viewers and money raised. The total that year was $5,245,722, more than double what was raised in 2016. This was likely due to the bundle that year being a great deal that included 70 plus games like Rust, Guild Wars 2, Gary's Mod, and Dungeon of the Endless. Unsurprisingly, the bundle was shared on Reddit and other sites, leading to nearly double the amount of contributors compared to the previous year. After a brief trial run during 2017's Jingle Jam, Yog Cinema was created. This allowed fans to watch the YogCast's YouTube videos together on Twitch and ran throughout the night when Yogs wouldn't be awake to stream. It also replaced empty streaming slots on the schedule. 2018 would be a standout year, as this would be when the Yogs would mix up their schedule and begin to experiment more with different types of streams. This was likely due to finally settling into the new office in Queen Square after having moved there in July of 2017. The new office gave them a lot more space and dedicated rooms for things like D&D and board games, a larger streaming room and a massive open plan space. They were now streaming tabletop miniature games, large-scale multiplayer grand strategies, one-off specials like live action, tournaments or themed weeks, Tom and Ben's Warhammer, and even a series of poker games, all whilst continuing some of their most popular streams of 2017. Series or events that would have been exclusive to YouTube or the Jingle Jam were now coming to the regular schedule. This was a fantastic time to be a Yogs fan, as this would be the most content diversity the channel had ever had. Now that the YogCast had a stronger presence on Twitch and more Yogs were quitting YouTube to focus on streaming, there was a further decrease in YouTube videos. The YogCast needed a way to keep their current viewers and encourage those that weren't already watching the streams over to Twitch. A good way for the YogCast to remain prevalent on YouTube in a Twitch age would be through fan channels. In 2017 and 2018, the YogCast community would see a wave of new fan-run compilation channels such as Xenophyte, myself, Drakon Astron, and YogCast Best Bits Weekly. All of these fans were dedicated to posting highlights of the many Twitch streams and videos at a time when compilation content proved to be incredibly popular on YouTube. These channels performed well, with many viewers using them as a way to catch up on streams they would have otherwise missed, discovering new Yogs to watch, and as an archive for moments that would be lost to Twitch's automatic video deletion. From a personal standpoint, my channel was a great gateway into video editing after being extremely interested in video production and documentaries. The videos I created also served as a way for me to have all of my favourite Yogs moments in one place whenever I needed a laugh, and the love and support I received from the community motivated me to continue making more. With many of the fans remaining dedicated to creating videos for multiple years, the YogCast would officiate these channels, adding them to their roster as full-time compilation editors. As of 2022, there are 3 official highlight channels, each providing their own blend of compilations, clips, meme edits, and the occasional animation. In August of 2019, the YogCast would hold their first convention dubbed YogCon, something Lewis and Simon joked about in an old YogPod episode 10 years earlier.
So the entire YogPod fan club of Australia, basically, this is 3 people, recognised one another.
It's like a little convention.
Did salute.
Almost.
Yeah.
Our first ever
Like
Australian convention.
Juggernaut meets up.
YogCon.
Yeah.
YogCon.
Can you imagine if we had to be like on a panel, you know, sitting behind like a table in front of a load of fans and answer questions from them?
So you're sitting around
behind this desk with a glass of water.
Right.
There's video cameras all around on me, recording this whole conference.
Are there?
Yeah.
Are we also? Is it like being broadcast over the internet? It's like a live YogScast.
Yeah.
The convention was held across 2 days in the Motion Bristol with 800 attendees and included live stage shows, live music, a pub quiz, signing sessions, board games and gaming booths. The entire event was also broadcast on Twitch for those not attending. Another YogCon was planned for 2020, but following COVID it was ultimately cancelled. Content creation wasn't the only thing the YogCast was focused on. In 2017, the Yogs founded their game publishing company, YogCast Games. So far they've published 9 games with more on the way. It's also worth mentioning that the Yogs are the organisers of the Tiny Teams Festival on Steam, a yearly event promoting indie games with small developer teams.
Somehow Steam are allowing us to run this Tiny Teams Festival and we get exclusive access to stream and play some of the coolest new games, and also there's loads of good discounts. And we're going to do like a mini Jingle Jam. We're going to have a week of really cool streams showing off some of our favourites. It's a really cool opportunity for us to play some games that aren't out yet, some really cool games that you've never heard of.
Also, in 2018, the YogCast would start making members-only videos for their main YouTube channel, allowing them to post videos that might not fit with their other content, and show some exclusive behind-the-scenes bits and pieces.
Can you sort of talk me through what it looks like when you play TTT?
So, I'll normally just be sat here like this. Sometimes I get thirsty and I have like a drink.
I always have to cut out the sound of you squeezing that bottle.
It's really annoying, isn't it? Just that like crunch. I'm sorry about that.
So you use your left hand
here,
and
my right hand here. I used to have like a much bigger mouse because I've got quite big hands, and I find these little mice for ants too small for my big hands. But it broke, so now I use a regular mouse. Have you seen my cap collection?
I thought it was ice.
No, it's from all the Ragnar splashes.
Why?
I don't know, like, just started collecting them, but look how many I've got.
The fact that these videos are funded by fan subscriptions lets the Yogs make creative content that would usually have more of a financial risk, including a series dedicated to buying weird items specifically from money earned via this system.
Hold with both hands, elbows close to the body, and tighten the muscles in your upper body. The faster you move it, the more intense the workout will become!
The most recent YogCast project is their new podcast network created in 2021 called Pickaxe, a collection of the various podcasts by Yogs members and beyond. As of recording, Pickaxe currently features 14 different shows, including Triforce, Hat Chat, and High Rollers D&D, with more in the works. Going into 2020, the YogCast would start hosting streams on their main Twitch channel. What this meant was, instead of Yogs streaming on the main Twitch itself, they would stream on their own channel but would be hosted, therefore allowing viewers visiting the main Twitch to see their stream. This would be the same as streaming on the central Twitch, but with the added benefits of watch hours and extra viewers for the featured Yogs channel. The frequency of these hosted streams would soon increase due to the COVID restrictions not allowing the regular in-office streams to go ahead. Some streams, such as Studs or the Chilluminati, didn't work as well remotely, leading to them being cancelled. COVID lockdowns also encouraged some members to stream more, and for Yogs like Simon, Ben, and Harry that had only streamed on the main Twitch, they would go on to regularly stream on their own channels. As of recent, the main Yogs Twitch schedule is still fairly sparse compared to before lockdown, but has slowly been expanding, with a lot more focus on special events like tournaments or tiny teams. Yog streams still continue to be hosted, with the majority of content happening over on their individual channels. Harry also commented on this saying, "Stream schedules of old are not gone, and main channel streams are being slowly organised. The main channel shows y'all, and myself enjoyed, will return, but it's also fair to say there's a massive focus for YogCast creators on their own channels. So finding creators on their own channels is and will be what we encourage." With most creators in the YogCast now being full-time streamers, it wouldn't take long for them to build up tight-knit communities in their chats and discords, leading to community games or streams chatting directly to their chats. There would also be a lot of overlap in viewers of one Yog to another, with the biggest overlap being between Boof and Dozy, Boof and Lydia, Boba and Lydia, Fionn and Zoe, and Ozzy and Lydia, taken from June to December last year. This large of an overlap is unsurprising considering the various collabs and main channel Twitch streams that make the YogCast one of the most unique networks on Twitch. The nature of the streams allowed much more community driven and laid back content, something that was virtually non-existent on YouTube.
Uh-oh. Please vote, chat. Okay, I think Twitch chat has made their mind up.
TTT had been a staple for the YogCast YouTube channel since the end of 2014, and quickly became more and more frequent as the years went on, to the point where you could argue it almost took over the channel entirely. Compared to other videos, TTT ended up vastly outperforming them, so shifting to a schedule that was predominantly Trouble in Terrace Town was a logical move for the YouTube algorithm and their fans. There were many benefits to having this as the main YogCast series, such as allowing a large rotating group of Yogs to play together and introduce themselves to the biggest chunk of the YogCast's audience, some of which may not be familiar with the Twitch side of things. Gmod is a game that's infinitely customizable, so there will always be new plays, maps and weapons. The YogCast also has a dedicated group of mod developers that tailor mods specifically to the Yogs and their playstyle, something a lot of other YouTube groups do not have. However, like any game, TTT started to get stale for some fans, causing a noticeable viewer drop-off and prompting requests on the subreddit for more content diversity. Lewis did actually respond to a thread about the oversaturation of TTT videos. I guess rebooting or focusing on the main channel is not something I know how to do either, but neither is it something I'm hungry to do. It's not that I don't want to take risks, it's that I don't feel the need to change myself to satisfy some mysterious viral whims of the YouTube algorithm, or even to try and appeal to some new audience in the first place. I'm very happy with our current audience. We've been losing subscribers since 2012, something that many YouTubers have had to learn to deal with, and I'm cool with it. When it comes to main channel content, we're gonna do what's natural, easy, fun, and creates good moments, both socially for us and comfortable to share with you. We should always be trying out and picking some fun and interesting games, but TTT is always reliable for a good laugh, and I'm having a lot of fun with Nick and Maleville finally being able to design some new roles and random events to troll the guys. Overall though, this schedule allowed the Yogs to continue putting out consistent and arguably the best edited TTT content on the platform onto their YouTube channel. Compared to other creators like RT Game or the Spiffing Brit, a Yogs member himself, where was the YogCast going wrong on YouTube? The answer being, videos like TTT and GTA are not very accessible to a new audience that aren't already familiar with the YogCast, something Spiff himself has said.
One thing that I always wanted to do with kind of like my content, and especially my Skyrim series, is the fact that I want to make a video that you've never seen Skyrim before, you've never seen me before, you've never seen someone play a game like this before, but you can watch it and you can enjoy it and understand it. And this could be like episode 3, could be episode 2, it doesn't matter. You could just drop in, ignore everything that's come previously and just enjoy it. Because my counterpoint was the exact opposite of that, which I saw as being decline. And bless their socks, my example for this is the YogCast with their long-running TTT and Gary's mod series.
Oh, Jesus.
Amazing content, very fun to watch, provided you've been watching the YogCast for the last 10 years. If you haven't been watching the YogCast for the last 10 years, you will have no clue what's going on, you will have no idea who these people are, what they're talking about, or what they're doing. It is terrible for a new audience experience. So my focus was to do the exact opposite and make the audience experience as user friendly and as intuitive as possible, so that it's almost like plug and play with a series. You could like watch episode 1 because it's something you're interested in, then episode 2 is like archery and Skyrim and you're like, I'm not that interested in archery, but episode 3 is unarmed and it's like, oh my god, I love unarmed, I'm gonna go watch that one.
To add to what Spiff was saying, modern gaming content on YouTube has vastly moved away from Let's Plays or funny moments style videos, and now relies heavily on individual gimmicks or goals, something Spiff and RT Game do very well. Viewers now want to see creative videos with ideas or objectives they might not have been able to think of or do themselves.
Because I wasn't really thinking about from like a business savvy standpoint. I was more so thinking about it just from what I want in my kind of like an entertaining video and the entertaining kind of videos I watch, which was things like they are simple, they're kind of straightforward, honest presentation style, and the big thing for me was they can be enjoyed by people who don't necessarily know the game that you're watching. Some of my favorite creators would be like kind of like Germa985 and Kraken, because no matter what they play, they make it funny. and you can latch on to something in it. You don't have to have an in-depth understanding of what they're doing. And I would always find myself gravitating towards their content more over other creators because I felt like a lot of content was becoming increasingly niche, where you needed a very in-depth understanding of what was being played to actually understand it.
And like recently, a content creator that I have really enjoyed has got like a series which was averaging 100,000 views an episode, and then episode 6 he put extra work into the thumbnail and premise and making sure that it could be watched out of order, and it had like 600,000 views.
Jesus Christ.
It's like, oh my god, okay, sure, cool. If I just put in that extra effort to make it slightly more understandable, anyone can come along and watch it.
The Yogs did try to branch out a little with the Peculiar Portions series, videos in which Lewis and Simon joke about weird news in a tightly edited, more accessible format. Unfortunately, this was met with limited success and has since evolved into a longer form podcast. Thankfully for the Yogs though, with their main priority now being Twitch, they weren't really looking to grow their YouTube audience, but instead to retain it. At the end of last year, Pedguin put out a thread on Twitter addressing the opinion that the YogCast were feeling. He also spoke about the thread and further explained his stance on his stream.
Some people are so obsessed with like YogCast failing. Like seeing something fail is their biggest turn on ever. Because if something is doing bad, that means you yourself is doing good because you're suddenly doing better than the thing that is no longer doing as well as it once was. It doesn't take much effort to notice that the entirety of the YogCast and all of its members, in the last 2 years, so many people have started streaming. Simon started streaming. OC started streaming. Like, there's this, like, regularly as well. Like, we've added Boba to the streaming roster. Me and Ravs, these last 2 years, have literally gone full-time streaming. Like, it's all we do. We just stream. And a lot of people are like that, you know? And it's just like insane, and people are breaking records constantly. If you ask anyone in the YogCast, like, what is your highest? When did you achieve your highest subscriber count? They will, almost all of them will say this year, which is crazy. That's a consistent record breaking, and next year it'll be even bigger. People are upset that YogCast is changing, like, and then people are upset that they're still doing TTT or whatever. But at the same time, like, if something's doing well, you keep doing it if you're enjoying it. Like, YogCast would still be playing Minecraft, but they just kind of stopped enjoying it, kind of like how I stopped enjoying Terraria. There's only so much innovation you can do with Minecraft until it gets stale.
By taking a look at 2021 statistics for the YogCast streamers, what Pedguin said is true, with a lot of Yogs hitting their peak that year or at the start of 2022. The success of the YogCast lies more with their individual streamers rather than the main Twitch itself. With the nature of content creation, some members that got an initial boost from the network would also grow and gain recognition beyond the YogCast. The most notable example of this would be Sips, with his Twitch channel outperforming the main YogCast channel by quite a large margin. Despite being a predominantly solo streamer that could very easily manage without a network, Sips stays loyal to the Yogs due to the fact that they gave him his original start.
Is there any benefits to being in the Yogs? Well, yeah, I wouldn't be here without them, so there's that benefit. I mean, if I had to do this by myself without exposure from Simon and Lewis, there's no fucking way I wouldn't be here right now. So yeah, the benefit of honoring somebody who gave you a chance to do what you do now out of like loyalty and friendship is a good enough reason to be in Yogs, no? Well, maybe I'm just a fucking dick, I don't know. Like, I always thought that was like the decent thing to do, I guess. No? I think the first day my channel was live and the first video I put up, I got like 70,000 subs in one day or something stupid like that. Lewis and Simon's channel was very, very, very popular at the time and was gaining subs like crazy. I mean, this is a time when the main channel was so popular that like, you know, like an Anno 2070 videos were getting like 600k views or something. You know what I mean? Like, that, it's insane. Like, you could never get that many views off a game like Anno now. Well, we couldn't anyway. But I don't think anybody else has really had that effect from like joining fresh. And like, if you joined the YogCast today, like, I don't think that would happen. But we were just lucky to join when we did. And we got all that exposure when we did and everything, and I don't know, we probably benefited the most from all that.
Martin also capitalized on Fortnite by creating well-made and concise guides for in-game events, leading to his channel having a massive surge in popularity after a couple of years of stagnation. The Yogs Mario Kart speedrunning competition is another excellent example. With speedrunning being a popular and exciting category on Twitch that's very accessible, it's unsurprising to see the Yogs that took part peaking in viewers when they were on global top 100 pace. From these streams, Silas, Lydia, Ravs, and Bree ended up getting around double the amount of viewers they would normally get. Boba also ended up getting a small increase in followers and viewership after she accidentally found the Boba skip, a massive speedrun skip for Metal Gear Solid.
I don't even remember my shit. What? Help me? Help. Help? What happened? Hello? What? Are you fucking with me right now? Are you I think you skipped some of the game and the story. It's not supposed to let me in here, right? How did I do that? Can I go back out? Hello? Otacon's supposed to tell me that I can't do that, right? I'm allowed in there.
A number of articles were written and videos created, as the Boba skip was one of the biggest discoveries in Metal Gear speedrunning history and one of the best speedrunning moments of 2021. Some of the Yogs were kind enough to answer some of my questions. What was it about the Yogs Guild, and Simon in particular, that bound you together and encouraged you to go on to make videos about not just World of Warcraft? Was making your own videos or podcast something you had any interest in prior to meeting the guild? For me, joining Yogs was probably what people describe these days as a find your tribe moment. It was a group of chill and funny folks who were able to enjoy WoW when it was at its best. Voice chat through TeamSpeak was pretty new, and we would hang out and chat. I knew that there were ways to play music and stuff over TeamSpeak, but it was super low quality, and I had heard of other guilds doing like a radio station for their guild, and also recording their achievements in game, and thought it would be fun to do something similar. What was your reaction to the success of the original Minecraft series, and the fact you would go on to light the way for future Minecraft Let's Plays and content creators? What was the original motivation for a scripted role-playing series like Shadow of Israphel? Looking back, when we started making Minecraft videos, it felt like we were already a bit late to the party. We had no idea how much bigger it could get, but at the time there had been plenty of coverage and we didn't want to do what it appeared that everyone else was doing on YouTube, which was solo play. Initially we waited for a multiplayer build, which I hoped would make the game more interesting, but coming from years of playing WoW, I felt like vanilla Minecraft was boring, lacked proper goals or things to do, and then I realised I could just add those things myself, and that's how things started really. How did you feel moving into the first office and going from recording Minecraft videos in your bedroom to now having your own dedicated recording and workspace? In the early days, Simon and I were living together, which is not always the best as there's inevitably going to be an argument about the washing machine or something. Getting a shared workspace gave us some breathing room to be more creative and hire some professional folks to do things properly, especially with regards to editing, sound recording and streaming, which is a bit more complicated back then. Everything grew very naturally from there, bringing in new creators and expanding the office when we needed more space. During the pandemic, it was really quiet since everyone had pretty much figured out how to do everything from home. These days, the office functions as a cool social area and meeting place for creators to hang out, bounce ideas around, or play board games. What was it like having the Jingle Jam become an annual tradition and seeing the hype and generosity from the community? The Jingle Jam is probably the main reason I'm still doing this. Over the years there have been a few moments where I really wasn't really enjoying things and was ready to quit, but I've always been so proud of the Jingle Jam. It's just so positive and awesome, that's given me a lot of new energy and passion. You've been playing TTT for a long time and alongside Ben have been in almost every TTT episode. What is it for you that keeps the game interesting and why it works so well on the main channel? I don't think it was ever a conscious decision to spend so much time in TTT, we just ended up playing it more because it created funny moments and good times. It's a great sandbox to hang out in and the TTT game mode gives us something to do while not feeling too unfriendly to newer players. We've always relied heavily on the community for content, from the classic mod packs like Tekkit in Minecraft to custom games in GTA 5. TTT is no different. We're always adding new roles and weapons to keep things fresh, and I'm honestly surprised we're not bored yet. Almost all of this stuff comes from the brilliant and passionate community members, and we couldn't do it without them. Do you have a favourite TTT moment or recording session? My favourite rounds are always when unexpected things happen, like the mass confusion of people coming back from the dead or underdogs pulling off lucky wins. It's also really rewarding to see roles I've designed, like the clown or parasite, create really fun moments. What was it like for you and Simon to host your own convention after joking about it a decade earlier? There's the clip of you standing watching everyone singing Diggy Diggy Hole. What was going through your head in that moment? YogCon was a fantastic celebration. Watching everyone singing Diggy Diggy Hole at the end was very memorable and immensely heartwarming. It was honestly great to see everyone so happy and loving and positive about these stupid little videos we decided to put on the internet. I'd really like to do it again, but I don't know if we can get the weather to be that nice. You're one of the OG WoW Yogs members but didn't officially join the stream team until 2018. What encouraged you to take the leap into streaming and producing your own content? It was actually Sips. He used to tell me back in the OG WoW times that I should be recording or doing my own stuff. I didn't listen at the time as I didn't have a desire to do YouTube, but one day when I was bored I figured I'd hop on Twitch and I fell in love with it. Are there any elements of streaming you prefer over recording videos? I much prefer the real-time feedback. Whilst I love reading comments for videos I'm in, I much prefer having someone be able to respond seconds after something has happened. It's so much easier to chat to the community and feel like you know them better. Twitch just feels so cozy. What was your highlight from the Mario Kart speedrun competition, and what do you think made the competition so popular and engaging for the Yogs and their audience? Sub 2 hours was the first real awesome goal to hit, but the whole thing had so many great parts. From Shadow teaching me the run initially, to Lydia and Xylus and all the other amazing runs people did. Shout out to Wilco for creating the amazing Yogs runs website. It made me love speedrunning, which is something I usually didn't enjoy the idea of. What's your favourite thing about your new podcast, 0 Degrees, and what makes it such a funny format? Man, I love recording 0 Degrees. I get to sit down for a few hours with my best mates, Lydia and Harry, and just have a laugh answering people's problems, which are sometimes really silly or serious. It's a total blast. I think we all have different outlooks on the problems people bring, and that variety of different opinions and answers whilst all being really good mates makes it a right laugh. You're one of a few Yogs that didn't get an initial YouTube start. What was it like to start out on Twitch and build up your community? Was there anything that drew you to Twitch instead of YouTube? So in terms of starting out on Twitch, I used to stream back in 2015 and then stopped to pursue full-time work/journalism. In 2017 I joined the YogCast as a streamer. The community wasn't particularly fond of newcomers back around those days, especially if you weren't particularly associated with the main group/main channel. I enjoy doing Twitch as it's super interactive and it's something I've enjoyed since day one, being able to play games and chat with everyone. What's the best part about your weekly Minecraft streams with Simon? Best part of my weekly stream with Simon is getting to hang out and chat with him and our communities. We laugh and have a good time. I'm not the most sociable person, very introvert, and I kinda tend to stick to myself a lot of the time sadly, but it's nice to do content with another person weekly, and Simon is amazing and a wonderful friend. It's an honour to do anything with him. I don't get to really check my chat very often when I do co-op streams, but it's not the end of the world and people know/understand I can't be super attentive when I'm making content with someone else. What's your favourite Yogs content to be involved in? I've got a lot of favourites over the years. Definitely got a soft spot for recording classic games like Colonization, Anno or XCOM, or board games with Ben Empyrean. I love streaming with Lydia, might try and bring that back. The old Civ 5 games were a blast, and Armchair Admirals is still a lot of fun. Anything with Simon will always be my favourite, and recording Peculiar Portions has never been funnier. It's probably my highlight of the week at the moment. Man, this is a tough question. I really enjoy doing TTT for example, as I'm a huge Source nerd, so playing in that engine again is really fun. As for streaming, I really enjoyed the Capture the World streams or Metal Gear Solid with Lydia, just having a good time with pals. I love doing content with most of the Yogs really. Obviously Jingle Jam is a standout for being part of a bigger group, like Sweaty Shooters with Sips, Ravs, etc. I'm happy to stream with anyone in the network because everyone is super lovely, personable, and really easy to work with. By focusing purely on YouTube views, it's easy to think that the YogCast has fallen from grace, but that's simply not true. Like all OG YouTubers, the YogCast have had their time in the main spotlight, but continue to maintain an audience, support their creators and staff, raise large amounts for charity, and pursue other projects such as games publishing, a podcast network, and their sister company, 4th Floor. It's clear to see that the Yogs have slowly become much more than just Lewis and Simon playing Minecraft, and are now a family of talented streamers and YouTubers, all with their own goals, communities, and successes, aided by the YogCast network. Judging by current facts and figures, I think the YogCast will further expand, and the creators will individually continue to grow and thrive as time goes on. Whether you're a fan of the new direction the Yogs took or not, the YogCast never had a downfall, they simply evolved. I want to give a big thank you to the Yogs for answering my questions, and a shout out specifically to Lewis, Harry and Tom Bates for helping me behind the scenes. Without their input and background, this video would have been me talking shite for an hour. I also want to dedicate this video in memory of my best friend Tesliov, who I actually met on the YogCast subreddit. Without her early support and help for my videos, I likely would have given up editing entirely and this video wouldn't exist. Thank you to everyone that watched this video as well. I know it's sort of different to the content that's normally on my channel, but it was something that I really enjoyed doing and I'd love to make more in the future.